Thank you. Good afternoon, my friends. I am your host, Victoria Gallagher. For those of you who did not know, Victoria had something come up and had to stay in her room. So she asked me to fill in. So, a couple of things. We need to show some serious love for Miss Victoria. So there's a couple of things I want to share with you. She wanted me to talk about her Practical Law of Attraction 18th Month Planner. And she has a gift for each of you. If you scan this QR code, and I think it'll be on the PowerPoint as well, you'll get a free ebook. So if you like, what I'm going to share with you today is what Victoria was going to share with you today, filtered through my uniquely distorted worldview. And before we launch into it, I want to give you a little primer. I've been teaching and doing energetics, hermetics, law of attraction stuff longer than I haven't. I started when I was a kid. I just didn't know what I didn't know at the time. And I went through a lot of stuff, and turns out I was really good at manifesting. And that was the problem. I was really fucking good at manifesting shit. Now, through life experience, I managed to turn poo-poo shit into special shit. Special human influence techniques. That's our special shit. I'm a student of influence of all kinds. If it involves getting something to happen, I'm in. That's your job too. You're just a little bit more focused. So what we're going to talk about today is the law of attraction, and how we can use NLP to make it work better. But before we get into the technique, which is actually quite simple, there's only 3. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to give you some foundations. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people here, and Victoria had wanted me to let you guys practice that. I don't know if that's going to happen without people jumping all over each other, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to talk about interrupting your patterns. We're going to talk about anchoring. We're going to talk about, there's one other thing in here that I'm going to teach you. But before we do, I want to talk about what underlies it all. You know, we talk about the law of attraction, and people tell you ask somebody what the law of attraction is, they say, well, it's pulling things into reality in harmony with your dominant thoughts. And people say, oh, okay. And that's the problem. You see, nobody actually clarifies, what are your dominant thoughts? You see, we think consciously that dominant thoughts are the ones we're always aware of. You as hypnotists know that is not the case, right? So the question becomes, if the thoughts we're aware of are not our dominant thoughts, how do we become aware of what our dominant thoughts actually are? The primary way that the universe set up to do that is through provocation. As we're moving through the world, we have an issue below the surface, below what the remote viewers call the limen. It's a little firewall between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And it's just kind of down there on a little auto wheel, like a repeating loop. And it's just kind of doing its own thing until we encounter something in the external environment related to that issue. And then all of a sudden, Godzilla rears its ugly head. Now, part of this, and that's not really your fault, it's actually something about the unconscious mind we all as hypnotists know about, and that is your unconscious, one of the jobs of your unconscious mind is to hold that shit down there, kind of like the quarantine file on your antivirus. You kind of just hold it there until we're ready to go back inside and clean that shit up. But nobody taught us that, right? Because I'm sure you've all never had this experience. Driving down the road, a beautiful sunny day, not in Las Vegas with flash flooding, right? You know, not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in your eye. You wouldn't be surprised if it's a dream. If you know that song, you're my level. Anyway, so the song's playing, you're just cruising, thinking, what a great day. And all of a sudden, a shitty memory from when you were 7 just bubbles up to the surface. Don't you fucking hate that? By the way, if politically incorrect language, colorful metaphors, swearing, or the word boobies offends you, yeah, good. So what do we do when that happens? Do we rush off to pull to the side of the road, the nearest parking lot, turn the car off, put it in park, and go diving for garbage? No. We stuff it down. We distract ourselves. We do every single thing we can to avoid the issue, which only adds more energy to the problem. So the first technique that Victoria set up for you guys was called how to use NLP for pattern interrupts. So, pardon me. This Halls is going down the wrong pipe. You ever notice that when you're doing affirmations, you start saying it out loud, and maybe you're starting to build a little bit of a positive feeling, but in the background, there's this little naggy, icky motherfucker of a feeling that because you were taught to focus on your dominant thoughts and you think that's the one that you're conscious of, you try to ignore. Anybody ever do that? If you ain't, you're about to. The little icky, naggy feeling is your dominant thought. And you only know it's there when it's provoked. It's below the threshold, like the Titanic, the berg that sucked the Titanic. So a lot of times when we do affirmations, we'll get that happy feeling that's kind of in the front, but in the back, like a whim or a notion in the back of your mind, there's that little icky, naggy, annoying feeling. And the natural question is, well, David, if it's in the background and it's icky and it's naggy, but it's not as obvious as the good feeling, how can that be my dominant thought if it's so weak? You feel it that way not because it's weak. You feel it that way because it's deep. Deep inside, in the autonomic level, in the fascia. Okay? I want to share with you, if you learn nothing besides the stuff Victoria has for you today, and this little nugget from Planet David, you will dramatically lower most resistance to your stuff. Not only that, your success rate will go up significantly. We call this the 6 dynamics of an unconscious response. You see, most of us have this thing we do called a pre-talk, where we go through all the reasons why people might not believe in hypnosis, how it's safe, all that stuff. Interestingly, as well-intentioned as we may be many times, that stuff can actually prime our clients to be resistant. It's much more useful to define and describe for the client what they're likely to encounter as a byproduct of going through the process. So I always give them these 6 dynamics before I do any work with them, because they are going to encounter them. And when they encounter them, because you said it first, who was in my storytelling workshop when people were asking how to protect themselves against evil naysayers and stuff, and I said, talk about it first, right? If it comes out of your mouth, they can't use it against you. The human nervous system is always trying to create a narrative. And if they're coming in because they're not in the best state, that narrative is almost always negative. So get ahead of it. First thing, unconscious mind always answers first. You should write this down if you haven't before. Unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. That's pretty easy. We all know that. This is the one that comes back to haunt you, the next 2. It always feels like you're making it up. How many times the client said, I think I just made that up. Always feels like you're making it up. Why? Because the party that controls all that shit down there is the same part that makes shit up. Naturally, they would have the same characteristics. But you see this thing, we do this thing with our conscious mind called projection. We assume that the way our conscious mind communicates is the same way our unconscious mind communicates. It's not. We all know this. If you've just ever done ideomotors, you know that. But there's a whole lot more. Unconscious mind always answers first. It always answers honestly. It always feels like you're making it up. Next big one. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. Whether you're working on yourself or somebody else, you always have an urge to edit what came up. The proverbial, oh, that can't be right. That's not it. Yeah. Did it come up first? That's it. Doesn't matter how logical it, again, we're not dealing with logic. Remember, irrational problems require irrational solutions. Okay? So always answers first, always answers honestly, always feels like you're making it up. You always have an urge to edit what just came up. It's never loud. Never loud. It's always quiet or soft or deep, like a whim or a notion in the back of your mind. And finally, for you regressionists out there, it's almost never linear, which feeds into that can't be right. Because your client's coming in thinking, My breakup, my divorce, the death happened in my 30s. Why am I 4 years old in the living room watching my parents argue over money? That can't be right. Yeah, it is. It's not linear, right? Always answers first. Always answers honestly. Always feels like you're making it up. Always have an urge to edit what just came up. Never loud, never linear. Is this helpful? When you're doing law of attraction work, self-hypnosis work, if you stick to those parameters, you will develop a significant level of trust and ability to act in the information you receive. All approaches to law of attraction require altered states of consciousness, period. Whether it's direct or indirect, it's altered states of consciousness. Okay? Okay. Everything okay? Oh, he's just moving in front. Okay. So I want you to, the first exercise, Victoria wanted to share with you a process for detaching or disconnecting that shitty feeling from the good feeling. Okay? And it works on an NLP process known as a pattern interrupt. Everything human beings do has a structure to it. If you're looking at senses, you're looking at visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory. We don't really need to do that right now. What we want to know is when we start to give ourselves an affirmation, and if we have time, I want to take you as far down Victoria's rabbit hole as humanly possible, point you in the direction of where to go for more. If you want to learn more and we have time, I'm happy to share some of my weird stuff with you. So I want you to write something that you want to manifest. And if you have no idea what you want to manifest, it could be as simple as Cooey's, every day and every way I'm getting better and better and better. I don't care what it is. Right? But what we're going to do is we're going to begin to detach the provoking stimuli from the negative feeling so we can manifest what we want instead of what we don't want. I saw a hand back here. Is there a... Can we get a mic? It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like in the example that Victoria sent me, the guy she was working with, he wanted to manifest a new house or something. Right? I don't care what it is. If we have time, towards the end of class, I'll show you a way to use what I call neurologically enhanced affirmations. We call them yin-formations in our world. And if you can achieve in like 3 to 5 of those repetitions what would take you 400 to do. Right? But you don't have to believe me. You're going to feel it. So write whatever that thing is that you want. Let me go back to my OneNote really quick so we can do this for you. Has this been helpful so far? I know they only gave me an hour, so I'm going as fast as humanly possible. All right. Okay. So the first thing is, what do you want? And I want you to imagine it. So let's do a closed eye process together. Once you know what you want, this is from Planet David. I want you to take a deep breath in and let that breath out with a sigh. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. I just want you to relax. Let go. Listen to the sound of my voice. Any sounds you hear other than the sounds of my voice are simply the sounds of our natural environment. They're not going to disturb you. They're not going to distract you in any way. In fact, all they're going to do is signal you, remind you, reinforce inside your mind, body, and soul the fact that you're completely safe. That no matter how far inside you travel, no matter how deep inside you go, you will always, always, always be able to hear my words, follow my instructions, obey my commands, because you realize that everything I say and everything I do is for you, to give you the life and the lifestyle that you want, the way that you want it, by your standards and your definitions. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to focus all of your attention on the lids of your eyes. I want you to just relax those tiny muscles in your eyes and just keep relaxing them. So they're so relaxed, man, they just don't want to work anymore. And when you're satisfied, when you're convinced, they're so relaxed they just don't want to work anymore, give them a quick test. Then stop testing. Spread that level of relaxation from the top of your head all the way down. Down. Down to the tips of your toes. Deeper and deeper with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. You can just let go. You guys are doing fantastic. I knew you would. You're all world-class hypnotists, and if you're not, you will be soon. Now, Before we began our process, I asked you to think of something that you really, really, really wanted. I mean, on a scale of 0 to 10, it was a 27. I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm wondering, I'm curious, what it might be like to actually have it. I mean, think about it for a moment. What might you see when you have it? What might you hear? What might you smell? What might you taste? Because when you do that, when you see what you see, and you hear what you hear, and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful feeling that you get. A feeling that lets you know, you got this. This is yours. And I'd like you to become aware of something. I'd like you to notice something. That there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment and point to where you feel it. As you point to where you feel it, I'd like you to just gaze inward with your inner eyes and notice that there's a color, maybe even a series of colors, connected to those amazing feelings. I'm curious what color or colors that might be for you. First impression. Whatever color or colors it is, I'd like you to take a moment. Imagine a brilliant ball of that energy floating above your head. I'd like you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and change with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of transformation, revelation, compensation. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all lack of abundance, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs, in an infinite, ever-expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. And when you realize it's true, test it. Try to turn it off, try to take it away, and notice what happens instead. That's right. When you're happy, stop testing, allow your eyes to open, and notice how different the world looks from this place. There's some happy campers in this room, I think. Right. That's as fast. Now, we did a lot of stuff in a tiny little piece of time. And it actually incorporated a piece, one of the last things that Victoria wanted to teach. I taught it first. Oh, well. It was called the eavesdropping technique. Right? Where you imagine yourself in the future, listening to what people say about your success in a positive way. We built it into our first process, which is how to find the shitty thoughts. Right? Now, I know for most of you, that was like Bliss City, right? That was awesome. But for how many of you did you notice a little icky feeling in the background? Okay? Now close your eyes. Remember where that icky feeling was and point to it. Okay, very good. Now, the bad David. Anyway, so I want you to take what you wrote down, and I want you to say the affirmation that we gave. I want you to say it out loud, and notice if the same icky feeling comes up, or is it a different one? Just read it right off how you wrote it. How did it feel when you said it? Hot? Is that a good thing? Or does it make you feel good, or does it? By the way, over 50% of the time, this process will, not my process that I gave you, will make people break out in a sweat. When you do this with people, they'll be sweating bullets half the time. Okay? The other half of the time, well, not all the other half, you'll also notice that 50% of the time, the color that they use to manifest is the one they're wearing. The one that they're wearing. About 50% of the time. Your color's red? Yep. I always let people discover, I just wait till you have the experience. But what we want to do now is we want to do what we call a classic NLP style pattern interrupt. So the way this works is now that you know what your good feeling is like, right, you can go back to it anytime you want. Anytime you want to supercharge yourself with that vibrational frequency, all you got to do is remember the color, fill the room with it, wrap it around you, breathe it through your whole body. Your neurology will tune to that frequency instantly, within seconds. And when we're talking about law of attraction, that's actually what we need to know. It's all about vibration. We talk about like attracts like. Like vibrations attract like vibrations in the spiritual universe. Okay? How many people have ever heard me say, if you want to be successful, you got to be playful? Right? If you want to be successful, you got to be playful, joyful, right? What's a higher vibration? Seriousness or joy? Seriousness or playfulness? Relentless determination or playful curiosity? Why? It's pleasant. So here's the deal. If you're like many people, now I won't point fingers because half the people are honest, the other half lie. I often ask people, how many of you who know about affirmations wait until you're in a shitty mood to start doing the affirmations and use it to change your state? All those nervous laughters, right? Well, to use a very graphic metaphor, if you're in a crappy state and you start doing affirmations, you basically take in your best intention, taking a steaming big pile of poo. I'm going to recommend you don't do that or avoid doing that. First thing you want to do is change your state. How do you change your state? You get your body involved, right? You all see me do the power poses. We're not going to do that because, again, I'm almost halfway through this class. But what we're going to do is we're going to break apart the thing we want to manifest and the thing that is provoking, that icky feeling. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at what we wrote we wanted. I want you to run the movie in your head a few times, and I want you to distill the 2, 3, 4 sentences that you wrote down to one phrase or one sentence that you could just blurt out in a second, like a little sound bite. Right? So if I'm going to manifest, I want a 6-bedroom house with 7 bedrooms, a huge backyard in Orlando, Florida, rent tax-free for life. I'm not going to jump up and say blah, 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 blah. I'm going to jump up and say, free fucking house. Fucking is optional, but anyway. But free house. Just take the energy of what you really want, distill it down to a very simple, clear, emotionally charged phrase. Can we do that? Take 2 minutes, write that down if you haven't done it already. For this part of the next part of the drill, we may need to spread you out a little bit so you don't jump on each other. Okay. Teresa, can you read yours for me? Oh, shit, he's checking. You didn't do it, did you? Fuck. No, I did it, but I'm not ready. Oh, okay. Bow, 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 bow. Getting the lizard involved. How about you, Callie? All right, fine, okay. I think we all went a little south of the border here. No. It's all right. Okay. I want to manifest $500,000 a year. $500,000 a year? Perfect. How about I now have $500,000 a year? How does that feel versus how I want to manifest? When you say I now have $500,000 a year, or I now earn $500,000 a year. I feel it back. Boom. There. We just found our ickiness. Right? Okay. So, once you become once you become aware of your ickiness, right? You say your affirmation out to yourself or out loud. The minute you become aware of the icky feeling in the background, you jump up out of your chair and you ask the question of the universe, what am I manifesting? Get your body engaged, exclaim, what am I manifesting? And then, once you've disrupted that negative feeling, you declare to the universe, I am manifesting, boom. Simple, easy? Does anybody not have the prerequisites? Okay, so you guys ready? So you might want to give yourself, I don't know if you, I'm a little nervous because this is a sardine can, right? This is why I started doing stuff with you sitting down. But we'll do it both ways. We'll do it standing up, we'll do it sitting down. The reason I like the version that Victoria teaches where you're standing up is because anytime you get your body involved in the change work, it doesn't matter what your conscious mind wants. It's a little secret. The only variable when you get the body acting out the change work is time. So, I mean, you can believe me or not, this is how it works, right? If you can get up and basically you read it, you feel the Icky feeling, you go, what am I manifesting? I'm manifesting $1 million a year in the bank, tax-free for the rest of my life. Yeah. You liked that one, didn't you? Can we do that? All right. You can all do it. Hey, that's my goal. All right? Yeah. Our people in Planet David tend to manifest patently impossible shit on a regular basis. Right? If you get a chance, you can visit my YouTube channel. There's a little video there called Funny Law of Attraction Stories. It was actually, I actually taught it at a vibrational influence class 2 years ago here at Hypnothons as a post-conference. And I'm telling about all these things that we manifest they said were patently impossible, including the doctor in front of my name. Right, I'll just leave that loop open for now. All right, look at your page. When you're ready, I want you to read it out loud with as much gusto and belief and certainty as humanly possible. Wow. Wow. Do you guys have a problem with resistant clients by any chance? Let's try it again, shall we? I now manifest. All right, the minute the Icky feeling comes up, jump up. What am I manifesting? Now, tell the world what you really want. Huh. Well, that didn't suck. Well done. How do you feel? Huh? Yeah, right? Now, here's the secret. Whenever you're doing anything involving the autonomic nervous system, one-time learnings can happen. But NLP, many, many years ago, discovered a phenomena it named a convincer strategy. A convincer strategy has two parts. The sequence of visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory brain regions that get activated and in what order. We're not going to worry about that. And a certain number of repetitions that it has to cycle through before that change locks in. Now, in NLP, they have this long, drawn-out, 20-minute process to figure out someone's convincer strategy. But we're hypnotists. We just say, keep doing it until you can't go back. Keep doing it until you can't go back to the way it was. When you know it's done, test it. Try to go back and notice what happens instead. You should write those words down because they will change everything. What would Victoria say? No. Keep doing it over and over and over again until it's impossible for it to go back the way it was. When you know you've got it, test it. Try to go back to the old feeling, try to go back to the way things used to be, and notice what happens instead. Your life will change. Don't believe me, test it. And then come back and I'll answer. I'll tell you why. Right? So, what you're going to do now is exactly the same process we just did, but now you're going to do it 5 or 6 times in a row. So once again, I'm going to read. I'm going to notice if that icky feeling is still there. And if it isn't, you're done. You're a one and doneer. Cool. Right? But if there's any left, jump up. What am I manifesting? Jump up. Read your affirmation out loud to the universe. Notice how different you feel. Keep doing it until it's impossible to get that icky feeling back. When you know you've done it, test it. Try to bring it back and notice what happens instead. I'm going to let you do this on your own so we can move as quickly through the next few processes as possible. Cool? Yeah. This means yes, this means no. There will be a test. This means I know the answer. This means I don't. This means, oh shit, I hope he doesn't call me next. All right, let me hear you. Wow. Do I need to prompt you? I now earn $1 million a year tax-free for the rest of my life. What am I manifesting? I am now earning $1 million. I don't have a problem with this one. Come on. Get your meat moving. Get your meat going. This isn't meat, motherfucker. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Come on. Get your meat going. Yeah. You can sit. Awesome. Give yourselves a big round of applause. So I'm curious, on how many noticed that after a certain amount of time the ickiness went away and didn't come back? Anybody? Okay, this is it's okay if you didn't. I'll show you another way to do it. But this is don't call on me. Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's the point. That's the problem. Exactly. We're too fucking serious. That's the whole message I've been teaching at HypnoThoughts and pretty much everywhere for the last 20 years. We're too fucking serious.
I can't wait for my teenager to hear me in my bedroom.
Yeah. Right? We need to get playful. We need to get joyful. We need to get curious. We need to get relentless. Why? Why that or victorious? Why? They're all positive frequencies. They're higher level frequencies. You will attract far more into your life. Even if you're dealing with the most heinous trauma on the planet in the treatment room, you will get better results faster if you are curious, explorational, and playful with your clients. You will manifest faster and more being playful and curious and explorational. Think of it like a video game. You're awake inside of it. Right? And again, we're kind of transitioning into Planet David now. We all talk about vibration, and we know that we understand vibration cognitively, but we don't really understand it functionally. Because we're always saying, how do I change my vibration? How do I do that? And we're always looking outside of ourselves to do it, right? Here's a very, very simple way to understand vibration and frequency and your system. We call it the holographic memory, the holographic nervous system. You don't end here. We all kind of accept that at some level. But there's a whole lot more going on. Again, I don't have time to teach you every single thing. For others of you who want to come to Chinese face reading and medical hypnotherapy, I can elaborate a little bit more, but they only give me like an hour or 2 hours there too. If you want to learn the full spectrum, we have a 4-day post. If you've got free time and you want to step in, I will teach you the whole fucking system, right? But this is good enough to start. So first of all, the way you calibrate vibration in the human body is the body feeling you currently have. The body feeling you currently have. Functionally, everything comes down to the feelings in your body. The feeling you're aware of at any given moment is a gestalt. It's a gestalt. It's the sum total of all the different frequencies in your system, different organs, thought process. It's your vibrational signature to the universe. Now, one of the things you need to understand about it is nature has a sense of humor. In that when she built the nervous system, she gave negative shit a gravity of 4 and positive shit a gravity of 1. That's the neuroscience. So, it's a suck ratio, but it's something we can work with. I tested this ridiculously well because, when you're on YouTube, everybody loves you. They never say bad things, never call you a charlatan or a con artist, right? So I got my hands on this statistic, and I went to the YouTube channel where all of the comments are, the ones held for moderation. If you have a YouTube channel and you're not moderating your comments, when would now be a good time to start? Okay? You need to control the narrative people assign to you. If you're not controlling it, somebody else is happy to do it for you. Right? That's just a little free advice there. So what I did was, I looked for a negative comment, which wasn't that hard. Right? And I calibrated the intensity of the feeling. And then I started looking for positive comments, and I started to count how many positive comments did I have to click on before I felt better. 4 to 6. Yep. Well, remember, I've been getting flamed for years, right? So I've built up a little bit of a way of dealing with it. I'll give it to you because none of you would ever really use it. But what I figured out was the worst thing you can ever do to a negative comment is respond to it. Period. Because all they're trying to do is steal your energy, which we call attention. Don't waste your time on people who don't like your shit just because you breathe the same air. Right? So here's what you do. When you come across one of those icky comments, you go to the delete button, you mouse over it, and as you click the delete button, you imagine wherever they are in the world, a little mushroom cloud rising up. You click the delete and ban, and you move on. It's amazingly therapeutic. Don't believe me? Try it. Right? So I started with the last technique first, which is the eavesdropping technique. Assuming that you've gotten what you want and you can move yourself into that place, what might you see? What might people be saying to you, right? Now, one of the things that came up with, is it Callie? Yeah. Callie, yeah. Was the verbiage that she used for her suggestion. I kind of tweaked it a little bit. Most of you probably know this, but in case you don't, two of the best ways to give yourself suggestion is present tense, I now have, or present progressive, I am now becoming. Right? When we start doing things like I want, that presupposes you don't have it. Right? The great Jerry Kine used to say, what the mind expects to happen tends to be realized. Right? Well, if you're saying I want $1 million, all these assumptions activate in the nervous system that has to create that effect. You're manifesting want. So, I now have, or I now earn. If it's a weight loss goal, I now weigh a slim, trim 125 pounds. Or if you want present progressive, because every now and then present tense can come and backfire on you. Like if you're 180 pounds and you say, I now weigh a slim, trim 120 pounds, and you get on the scale and you see 180.7, your unconscious mind goes, you fucking liar. Right? So, don't get on the scale. No, you got to measure it. You got to be careful when you get too manic about scales. But my point is, by the way, my specialty is not weight loss. That's his. So, a little bit. So he's probably got way more better stuff on that. I deal with all kinds of crappy, like emotionally based trauma and stuff. Okay. So, how many people have not taken a picture of Victoria's QR? Let's pass it down. Take a picture with your phone, please. For those of you who would like somebody who can walk you through how to apply practical law of attraction techniques, Victoria has made this amazingly cool practical law of attraction 18-month monthly weekly manifesting planner. So I would recommend you go see her booth and talk to Danielle and what was the other lady Anne? Is it Anne? Anna. And they will help take care of you. I have it. I don't have the planner. I have her book. She made me buy it. Which shows you how good she is. Getting money out of me well, actually, it is quite easy. But anyway, I'm a blow down. Anyway, I'm going to share with you one more technique. And it's the middle technique that Victoria wanted to share with you. I'd like to share with you an NLP technique called Circles of Excellence. But I'd like to put a little spin on it, if I might. Okay? So here's what I'd like you to do. Guys, remember that first exercise we did where we went into trance, we imagined the feeling that we wanted to have, made a color with it. Okay, I want everybody to stand up. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to remember that color. As you remember that color, notice a massive sphere of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as with every breath you take and every beat of your heart, that ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of transformation, manifestation, A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all loss of abundance, all lacks, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit in an infinite, ever-expanding supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing energies through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. Not even you. Beautiful. Now, as that energy flows through your mind, flows through your body, any part of your mind, body, or soul, any program, any belief, any memory, any experience that is not in harmony with this new set of instructions, your neurology is going to begin to shed. It's going to begin to purge like a snake shedding its skin, like old software being uninstalled by newer, better, more powerful software. There's no need to measure it, manage it, or make it happen faster. Just notice the process taking place. Allow it to install itself completely. And when you know it's done, test it. Try to bring the loser feeling back. Try to turn the winner feeling off. Notice what happens instead. And when you're ready, I want you to notice how that feeling stays inside of you. How any area that's vibrating at a less than positive frequency to this new change begins to melt and dissolve like hot water flowing over an ice cube. Take all the time you need to let those things melt out of your mind, out of your body, out of your spirit. When you know you've got it and it's locked in, you just nod your head to let me know. And we'll continue with the next part of our process. Perfect. The moment it's locked in, every cell of your body generating more and more and more of those amazing feelings in an infinite, ever-expanding and unlimited supply, I want you to notice how that energy now moves out directly in front of you, forming a beautiful colored pillar. A circular colored pillar floating higher and higher. Now, if your pillar is square, that's fine too. And as it floats to the front of you, it doubles in size and strength, doubles in force and magnitude. You can actually smell the energy coming off. You can feel the vibration radiating from it, twice the size of it, what it was originally. And when you're ready, breathe in that energy through your entire being. Let it flow from the outside to your lungs, from your lungs to your heart, from your heart throughout your bloodstream, and every place that blood goes, those feelings go, into every nerve and every cell and every atom, into the very DNA of those cells. Reprogramming, transforming, turning each and every cell of your body into a powerful manifestation factory. And when you're ready, in whatever way is comfortable for you, take a step inside that pillar. As you step inside that pillar, zoom, up through your body rockets that energy. All of those powers, all of those forces, all of the qualities and attributes and belief systems necessary to become the person who deserves to have it, flies through your mind, flies through your body, anchoring itself fully and completely. And not only that, because the pillar was twice the size of what it was originally, you can feel your own body begin to expand to fill the entire pillar. Twice as high, twice as wide, twice as powerful as it was. Take all the time you need. Breathe it in. Let it lock itself in. When you know you've got it, step out. The moment you step out of the pillar doubles in size and strength again. It doubles in force and magnitude, and you can feel the intensity, the unstoppable amplitude and vibrations flooding and coursing through your mind and body. When you're ready to own it, to personify it, to embody it completely, breathe it in and step back into that pillar. The moment you step back in, zoom, you grow to fill that entire pillar. Twice as large, twice as powerful, twice as unstoppable. All those good feelings flooding and flowing, making all your tingly parts tingle. That's right. Take all the time you need to let those energies, those messages, those reprogramming processes lock into place. When you know you've got it, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to make it go away. Notice what happens instead. When you know you got it, step back out. The moment you do that, pillar doubles in size and strength, force and magnitude a third time. 3 times more powerful, 3 times bigger, 3 times as unstoppable, transforming, reprogramming, magnetizing your mind, body, and soul to the things you truly want, the way you want them, by your standards and your definitions. And for as long as your heart continues to beat, for as long as your lungs continue to breathe, this pillar will go with you. Anytime you want to, anytime you need to, all you have to remember is that little ball of energy that was inside of you moving out, going to the ground, becoming a massive pillar. You can step into it, and zoom! All that energy comes flooding back instantly, effortlessly, automatically. If you're in a place where you can't do the full pillar, all you got to do is remember that color. Imagine a sphere of it above your head. Fill the room with it, wrap it around you, breathe it through your entire being, and notice what happens. Now, all I want you to do, since we're hypnotists and we know the power of compounding, all I want you to do is step in, step out, step in, step out, each time noticing how much stronger it gets, until any time you want to. All you got to do is think about it, and poof, there it is. Maybe you make up a keyword like Shazam or bologna sandwich or something, right? Take all the time you need. When you know you got it, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to take it away. Try to imagine some other motherfucker try to take it away. And notice what happens instead. You got it, baby. All right. When you're satisfied, it's locked in. Allow your eyes to open. Notice how different the world looks. You are. Thank you. Have a seat. All right. So, again, let's show Victoria some love. All right. For those of you who didn't get the QR code, it's right around here somewhere. Here we go. All right. Well, we got to do the drawing, don't we? Oh, I guess we're going to have to find out how well your law of attraction works, don't we, motherfuckers? Yeah, you can do that. I'm good. They're still passing the other one out, but I was going to make that bigger, but I don't know if you can see it from. Yeah, I don't know why whenever I do energy work, all my electronics go to shit. I killed Richard Rumble's wife's car from across Las Vegas last year. Hold on. Come on. See, Victoria will not be put down. She's unstoppable. Oh, there it is. There you go. There you go. That's all right. So we got the books. Cool. All right. He spent so much time making these nice and orderly. Whoop. Wonder what this might be. Tom Nicoli. Go give this. Thanks. Go give this to Stephanie when you chance. She'll get you in our database. I'm doing the drawing. Did you come late?
No. Well,
Did you hear when I said we're going to do a drawing? What do you think, guys? Take your name, phone number, and email address. Hurry up. You have one book left. Hurry. I told people who were here that I was going to give away 3 Mondo Supremo I Want It All packages. All you had to do was turn in your name, phone number, and email, and I would draw them at the end of the training. You had to be present to win. Okay? I gotta get more metallic. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, actually, you don't worry about it. That's actually, it's taken from my offer sheet, which is done at the end of an event. So you don't have to worry about it. You got it till you use it. Or if you want to gift it to somebody, you're more than welcome. I won't be offended. Yeah. Go ahead. All right. Anybody else? All right. Last call. Yeah, I know. See, I'm too compassionate. I need to be more of a dickhead. Maybe if you're really nice to him. I've had people do that. I've had people win a couple of Mondos, and they just walk around handing them to people. Say, hey, you need this more than I do. Here. Really? Come on, bring it up. All right, this is the last call. Seriously, though. I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair, okay? And it's the same package they were raffling off in the vendors areas, in case you were wondering. At 4:30, when is my next one? Chinese face reading and Chinese medical hypnotherapy. What time is it? We'll be doing 3 more raffles. So if you didn't win today, show up. Okay? Tell lots of people. We'll be doing cool face reading stuff and how to do therapy with it. Okay? You must be present to win, folks. If I draw your name, you get okay. Shalene cmorgan702@gmail.com. Too late. Susan Bratton. Mm-hmm. Olga Zeryeva. Hey, hey. All right. Those of you who won, see me. I'll get these to you. So here's the deal. Where was my other winner? Susan. You guys are vibrationally connected, apparently. All right. So here's the deal. Please show Victoria some love. She trusted me enough with your tender minds. Did you have a good time? Doing some cool shit? All right, please support Victoria. Go see her booth. Go see if there's that free ebook. If you had a great time, tell everybody. If you didn't, say you were at somebody else's workshop. All right, we'll see you later. God bless. Mm-hmm.